Welcome back to Lost Dungeon Creatures. This is a half episode, a little special mini episode that's not a director's cut. All right? I have a feeling the director's cut is also going to be half an episode. So, yeah. But no, the director's cut is not half an episode. This is what we recorded after the director's cut, which was the interview between two players. After every dungeon level, we're going to go around and do interviews with two of my players. I'm going to take two of them away, keep them later, and we're going to do an interview after that session. For context, you just listened to the last episode, the shopping episode. And now this episode is here, and this is the interview. So we haven't started the second level yet. For you audio listeners who want to paint that timeline. With me today, I have Amanda and Ace, who are, I would say, two key members of my D&D podcast. Amanda is my co-DM. We soundboard off of each other all the time. I send her ideas. She's read the modules. She's also played this campaign before, so she knows what she's doing. For the most part, some things are secrets. And then I have Ace, who's the artist, and she did all the art for the YouTube channel and the Reddit, and does, I would say, all but the first thumbnail for us. So she's been doing the thumbnails. It's great. So yeah. Why don't you guys introduce yourself and what characters you play for reference?
I am Ace. I play Adrax, the Barbarian.
I'm Amanda, and I play Qhuyn, the Tiefling Wizard.
Yeah, so these two players of mine are key members of the podcast. Not that the other players aren't as important. They'll get, they all have their jobs, but these two are what I feel like really are the face of the group, other than me, the DM. But I'm just trying to play favorites, but I did decide to pick these two for a reason. You guys are in the Super Dungeon. Amanda's played the Super Dungeon before in 5e. When I was teaching them 5e rules, because I had a lot of new players. And Ace has never played in the Super Dungeon, which is really nice.
I hear stories.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a very important question from two different contexts. I'm going to start with Amanda. How is the Super Dungeon campaign so far for you?
It's really fun, and it's been changed from how it was before, because everyone's on the same level at the same time. So that is crazy. And with the first level, it was a full-on tavern brawl against the rats, or creatures dressed up as rats. And instead this time it was a bunch of different levels to the tavern that we had to go through and find the rats in.
All of which were different taverns, which I thought was really nice. How about you, Ace? How do you feel?
I am having lots of fun with the Super Dungeon. I find it very fascinating and unique. It's a lot of a different take than what regular D&D campaigns usually go, where everyone meets in a tavern. We're all just tossed into the campaign right away.
You'll find as you're playing through the campaign, the theme of the Super Dungeon is it's very tongue-in-cheek. I dress it up as a game show, but there are moments where, I'll say something and you're like, oh, that's so cheeky and so close to, what people just talk about. Like you said, we meet in a tavern. You did meet in a tavern. You participated in a tavern level for a dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of that in this campaign. The original 5e campaign was to teach my players combat, because we got the roleplay down, but the combat was really slow. So I said, well, we might as well do dungeon crawl, make it fun. So I made it into a game show. And it was one of those things where my ADHD mind, as soon as I started thinking about it, I was like, oh no, this is not my baby. This is now the most closest and precious campaign I have and put a lot of work into. And when I came back to 5.5, I looked at the 5e campaign and said there was a lot of improvements I could have made. Lots. It's also challenging me as a DM, because I suck at remembering all of the NPCs all the time, even if I write them down. Like the 5 teams, I'm struggling. It's hard.
That's a lot of
It's
characters.
tough. It's a lot of characters, and it's going to get even tough if we ever get into combat. I'm very afraid if combat ever happens between all 5 parties, even though it almost did in the tavern. We'll get to that, but it almost did. So you guys like the campaign, which is great. I think overall everybody really likes the campaign. The Super Dungeon is always fun because it removes the, I don't want to say seriousness, but it removes the restrictive, you have to play D&D this way from the game, and instead it is now a game show. It's now funny. There's a lot of metagaming, I guess is what I'm saying, which is kind of like how you play the Super Dungeon, because you have to have moments in combat, or when you're at the shop buying tokens or whatever, cursing other parties, where you have to have the conversation out of game for that, and I think there's a lot of that in the campaign. Which leads me to my next question. How do your characters feel about wow. How do your players feel about the other players at the table? Like, how do your characters feel about their characters?
I guess Qhuyn is feeling kind of apprehensive about Uthlana and Marlos, solely for the fact that she's kind of drawn their ire from what she did in what's going to be the director's cut when she made the deal. So, aside from that, for Adrax, she's kind of more warm towards, because he's very much seeming as more of like the big brother kind of character, and has basically just 1v1'd and held his own against a few people while we just fucked off in a corner and
he do it again.
And you know what the fun about this campaign is PvP is enabled. And I bet you any amount of money, I'd put my life on the line if everybody knew that killing Qhuyn in the first level dungeon would mean they'd get 1 million gold pieces. They would have just done it. Yeah, they would have done it. And that's the pressure that you have with the 1 million gold pieces, is because you're like, oh, if I don't like you, I can just get 1 million gold, right? Which is kind of the narrative I've just created with Nicholas, doing that to that 1-1.
Nicholas, who has inspired...
Who's
not so subtly.
Not so subtly inspired by a specific character from The Walking Dead. Yeah. But he's a great antagonist, and I wanted to make him.
No,
all right?
Negan is good.
Players base their characters off of, characters they like or things media that they like. I also do that with my NPCs, but I do it in a way that I think is really good. Like, believe it or not, Elton is actually very tongue-in-cheek, closely related to another character. I'm not going to say who, but we'll get into that, and as the campaign unfolds, you'll see who that is. How does Adrax fail? How does Adrax feel about the other party members?
Well, kind of like what you said, Adrax wants to look out for everyone where he can, and he will try to be trusting of everyone on his team and hope that the best will come from it. He probably wasn't too pleased with Steve agreeing with the death of the Blue Party member.
Yeah, there's strong.
He's like a little bit.
Go ahead.
Try not to start with Steve or anything.
Yeah.
But
there's when everybody made these characters, because you guys made these characters by yourself.
Yeah.
I made the campaign rule that you're all supposed to be strangers and that none of you know each other, right? So you made your characters. And when everybody sent me their backstories, there were like 3 characters that I was like, oh, you're going to be on opposition to half the party. You're going to be on the opposition of the other half of the party. I have no idea if these 2 are going to get along. And there was one character who I'm not going to spoil, but there was one player who sent me the backstory. I'm like, I think you might be the first to go. I think if PvP starts, that player's gone. Like, immediately. And I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to reveal backstories, but I was like, dang, that's dark. But yeah, there's a lot of good backstories in the campaign. And I do appreciate the amount of work that everybody's put into their backstory for this, because most of the time when you tell people they're playing a dungeon crawl, it's like half a page. Here's my thing. Here's what we do. But everybody came full swing. I got like 3 or 4 pages from everybody.
God, yeah, what was mine? Yeah, 4 pages or
4, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine with me. I don't mind. And I was reading everybody's backstory, and I said, God, these characters are going to be fucking the GOAT. But I do want to ask, now that we've talked about characters, how do both of your characters feel about Elton?
Qhuyn would be very 50-50 because he obviously has something that she wants, but very much that she's not necessarily fond of him in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
He has what she wants, and she's going to do her best to get that, but if it comes down to it, she will try to get rid of him.
Okay. Adrax?
Adrax doesn't trust him.
Okay.
At all. He's there for that one thing. He's there for that one thing. He trusts his team more than Elton, probably. But he'll abide by all the rules.
Yeah. We're doing flashbacks now with Elton going and meeting everybody for the first time when they signed the contract. What do you guys think is going to be your moment in your backstory, if you want to talk about that on the interview? Where do you think Elton shows up in the past for you?
There's 2 points immediately that I can think of for Qhuyn,
You don't have to say any spoilers, by the way.
and both of which not good spots. not good for her mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see which
Why
one
are
it
you
ends up
picking?
being.
Why are you picking like low notes? Why do you think he shows up at the low notes?
So in the previous edition in 5e,
But like, out of, because this is for Qhuyn, right? So Qhuyn wasn't in the previous edition.
I made her backstory a lot sadder to
Yeah.
kind of give her a reason to go to Elton
Mm-hmm.
early on, because she's got a long way to go before she can even start thinking about high level spells like Wish. And so at the low points, that's really where she would have saw that and been like, I need that type of thing. So
Okay, I got you. Adrax?
I kind of think the same. Kind of the lowest point where Adrax feels like he has no options and he has no choice but to do this because it's the only way to get what he wants from it.
Well, I have no comment, but I think you guys are pretty close. You're almost spot on with the reason why he shows up. Yeah. The audio listeners didn't get to hear Marlos's thing. I'm going to try my best to clean up that audio. I hope they hear Marlos's backstory. But we did just get that with Vesper. There definitely is that theme of he shows up in like when it's quiet and you're stuck thinking to yourself. That's kind of when he shows off, yeah. Anyway, the next question I have for you guys is your subclasses. I want to do a deep dive on your characters more other than what they think of everybody else. I want to know what subclass you guys have picked in your previous level up and why you've gone down that path in 5.5.
So I chose Divination Wizard because it's a subclass I've played before, but it was also really the only way I could feel of a subclass being well tied into Qhuyn's backstory with the portent part, because you essentially get glimpses of what could happen, and you can have that moment of being like, oh, this is how it goes instead, or this is how it happens, unfortunately. So that was why I went Divination Wizard with Qhuyn.
Have we used your portent yet? I know we discussed it in the director's cut when we were getting into the drinking contest with the Beholder, but I don't know if you actually used it. I think Steve got all of his rolls.
Yeah, Steve got all his rolls, but I did use my portent after I made the deal because Uthlana tried to do something to Qhuyn. I can't remember what specifically, but she tried to cast a spell, and Qhuyn had to do
It was color spray.
Color spray.
And I did not want to risk that save. I was like, this is a good way to be like, oh, I've got this now.
Right. Adrax?
Why have I forgotten the question?
The question is
my color spray. I don't remember and I don't remember.
And yeah, you got color sprayed out. You don't remember anything. It was, why did you pick the subclass that you did for 5.5?
Yes, Path of the World Tree.
Yeah.
With which I also didn't get confused with Path of the Wild Tree.
That's true. You know, Path of the Wild Trees,
That sounds
Path
cool.
of the Wild Magic is good. It is in a UA. I think it might have been in Tasha's as well, in 5e.
Path of the World Tree I chose for multiple reasons. I mean, it sounds super cool, first of all. Who doesn't like teleportation? And my favorite, one of my favorite characters, Nightcrawler. Just like you said, inspiration from multiple characters.
For sure, right? And you're dual wielding. You're going to be very fast. And we've done all. You know, you've done already pretty well, I would think. I think the improvements for Dragonborn are amazing. I think we talked about this in the interview, but I want to bring it back up because that interview got trashed.
Yeah.
The changes to Dragonborn are goated. Like, I don't know how you're not playing Dragonborn in 5.5. If you aren't a Dragonborn, then you're an Asmar or a human for sure. Like, those are the top 3 races for me. I can't see myself playing anything else. Maybe a halfling. I used to be in the old days, dwarf was like my go-to. It's not anymore. It's not even high up in the ladder. No offense to dwarf, but like I get a lot of cooler shit with Dragonborn. You can fly magically later. Your fire breath is now a cone or a line, and you get dark vision. I don't know. I can't see myself playing anything else.
It's really good, yeah. That's next level for me too.
Your flight?
Level 5. Level
Yeah.
5 is flight.
Oh.
Oh.
Pair that with your new barbarian ability. Can I ask you to reread that one for the audio listeners?
Oh,
Your new barbarian
I'll
ability?
have to get the page.
We'll get the book out.
Or actually, I think I sent a screenshot of it to you.
Because it's dumb, that barbarian. I read that barbarian ability. I was like, fuck, that's so gross.
Additionally, I chose Path of the World Tree because it's a new subclass.
And you get
I
more,
wanna
yep,
try
and
something
you
new.
get new. That is true. It is new.
So level 3 Primal Knowledge. You gain proficiency in another skill of your choice from the skill list available to Barbarian at level 1. In addition, while your rage is active, you can channel Primal Power when you attempt certain tasks. Whenever you make an ability check using one of the following skills, you can make it a strength check even if it normally uses a different ability. Acrobatics, Intimidation, Perception, Stealth, or Survival. When you use this ability, your strength represents your primal power, coursing through you, honing your agility, bearing, and senses.
The intimidation and acrobatics, I understand. But you're already using athletics because you gain advantage on it while waging. So I don't know why they gave you the acrobatics unless it's now just an additional to danger sense. If instead I'm like, oh, it's not a dex save, it's acrobatics. And you're like, well, actually, it's my strength now, so it's okay. But the perception itself boggles me. I can't understand that. And even then, they say primal. They should have just said adrenaline because that's exactly what that's referencing, right?
Honestly,
Is
yeah.
you having a lot of adrenaline.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that one. It's cool as a player. I'm glad they have it. As a DM, I also hate that they have it.
And I also just got the 19 on strength.
You did. You bought the Gauntlets of Ogre Power. In the last interview, we didn't get to talk feats, but you both have chosen feats. What feats have you taken?
So I took, for the first one that we got, I took Magic Initiate to get healing because I wanted us to have a bit more healing, especially as a bonus action.
So you took Guidance and Healing Word, I think it was?
Guidance and Healing Word, yeah. And then for the most recent one, I took Spell Sniper. Because I thought about taking Warcaster or Observant, but then I read through Spell Sniper, I'm like, that's too good for me to pass up on.
Spell Sniper is goated in this edition.
Yeah.
It's the best. Only because you don't have the other books of other even better feats like Magic Initiate from Tasha's. That's gone now. So I mean, like, yeah, you're going back to Spell Sniper and Warcaster. You're taking Tough. And for clarity for the audio listeners, you didn't pick your first level. That was your background.
Yeah, that's
so you
true.
didn't take that one, quote unquote, but you probably chose your
Yeah.
background for that. Adrax.
I just did the ability score improvement, which
Yeah.
unfortunately with this most recent episode was kind of useless anyway.
We can talk about maybe changing it. You technically weren't level 4 before you got the gauntlet, so we can talk about it.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Then I might change it up then.
Yeah,
because
I
went
would.
with the ability
Well, if
score
you lose the
for
gauntlets,
strength.
though,
Yeah.
give take, right? It's up to you. We'll talk.
Okay.
Again, I'll re-up the last interview. I think mobile is really good for you because you're teleporting around. The mobile feat is really good. Can I read it to you? In 5e? In 5.5, sorry? 5e. There's a lot of people who are already mad and have stopped watching because we use the term 5.5 probably too. They've changed the name. Speedy.
Mobile was so much better.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed the mobile feat to
like
Speedy.
It's charming. I like
It makes me
General
think of
feat,
Speedy Gonzalez.
Prerequisite, be level 4 or higher. Have a dexterity of 13 plus. You gain the following benefits. Ability score increase. Your dexterity increases, your dexterity or constitution score increased by 1 to a maximum of 20. Your speed increases. You gain an additional 10 feet of movement. You go from 30 to 40. Base. Dash over difficult terrain. When you take the dash action on your turn, difficult terrain does not cost you extra movement for the rest of your turn. Agile movement. Opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you.
Wow.
So you run in.
Good.
You run in, you swing to your sword, you go, well, that sucks. You have movement left, you back up. Now I have disadvantage to attack you. Why not, right? Take the gamble. So,
Nice.
You know what else that means? You run in, you reckless. You gain advantage. That their advantage and your disadvantage cancel out. That's a flat attack roll against you.
Yeah.
It's good.
It does sound really
Especially
good.
because the
Thank
extra
you for
2 the extra 2 feet is nice, and you get con and dex, so it's nice. In the older editions, it was probably a little better. I said it was improved, but now that I know they've changed the name, probably not. Speedy might kill it for me. Speedy might kill it for me. Yeah. And I guess we went shopping. Everybody bought stuff. which was really nice in this episode. The gold. How do you guys feel about the little bags of gold that everybody shares? They're like the group bag holding for just money. How does that feel?
I feel like it's easier because no one has to worry about different amounts and dividing it up amongst us and not having enough to get something that they need. So I think it's easier having it done like that.
I like it. I like that we can even just discuss it as a group what to get, and sometimes we can even afford more by ourselves.
And again, that's the metagame aspect that I discussed earlier. Like, we can have that conversation out of game, and everybody can just sit here and be like, yeah, sure. Do you mind if I spend X, Y? Can we get this? Should we get that for whoever? Like, that conversation is probably what happened in World, but the fact that the store's empty and nobody's in there and it's just you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter, right? So it's metagaming of it, I guess. We went over some of the new 5.5 magical items. I was going to say this for the next interview, but because we did the shopping, I just told you guys about the Sentinel Shield and the Staff the Acrobat and all that stuff. Out of all the items that you heard about tonight, what do you think was your favorite change or your new favorite weapon that you might want to get later?
Oh, I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention to the weapons, but I want to say the shield would be sounding like a favorite.
The Shield of the Sentinel, the new one.
Yeah, that's big. A lot of the magic shields were just like for very specific instances, like for when magic missiles cast at you or something like that, and it's like, well, no, that doesn't happen a lot of times.
It's a nice callback. Again, these are the items the characters in the original cartoon wielded in the cartoon. So that shield, that's exactly what it does. They have the energy bow, the acrobat, the club of thundering or whatever it's called that the kid gets, which is nuts. It's a crazy one-handed club. I can't believe it's crazy. How about you, Adrax? Was there any of the items that you heard about tonight that you...
You did kind of have me convinced on that hammer. That sounds pretty cool.
The Hammer of Thunderbolts?
You die.
Yeah. The slaying giants instantly and increasing the strength bonus from Gauntlets of Ogre Power or Belt of Giant Strength by 4 to a maximum 30 is nuts. To have that synergy is just crazy to me.
That sounds like it could be very fun if we ever get that much money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It was a lot.
That's going to be a lot
Even
of
on sale,
saving
it's a
up
lot of
and
money.
trying to get enough money.
You throw it, it stuns, you slay instantly, you get the bonus strength if it synergizes. I mean, honestly, it's just so fucking good.
Yeah.
And again, if 5.5 or 2024, whatever you want to call it, has all of those synergies in there, like the hammer, the dwarven thrower, which they have, which was only tunable by dwarves. Now say it has to be tunable by a dwarf or somebody tuned to the belt of dwarven kind.
That's so nice.
Yeah, same with the dwarven plate. Yeah. Just nice. I don't know. That synergy is nice to have.
Yeah, and it's also nice to have stuff for classes that didn't have a whole lot in previous editions.
For sure.
Like Monk.
Yep.
Hand wraps and bracers and I think maybe a quarterstaff.
There's like 4 staffs now that do melee damage. It's no longer just staff of flowers or anything. It's now quarterstaff of like mighty blows or whatever it's called. Quarterstaff of the Acrobat too is again from the TV show. So yeah, it's nice. I like it. The new book came out, Adventures in the Sword Coast. There's 2 books. There's a player's book and a lore book. I have not purchased any of them yet, although I've heard very mixed reviews on all of them. And as far as I know, there's not really a lot of new stuff for the players other than a few classes. So, like subclasses. So unfortunately, I can't talk about that in the interview, but I'll get it one day. It's Christmas this month, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We've covered all the character stuff, and we've covered a little bit about the super dungeon. But now I want to get into the creation, because all 3 of us have made this podcast about the creation, and I want to ask you guys how you feel right now about the production of the podcast and how well you guys think it's doing.
There's been its ups and downs, but a lot has happened too. You moved, and like we have a proper room.
I built a studio, yeah.
For it. So I feel like we're going to get to a point where it's going to kind of level out, and then we'll have to see how it goes from there if people listen to it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it's going to be good.
I don't want to interrupt Ace again because I know Ace is going to answer. But Ace and I also discussed, like, the most important thing about the podcast right now, like, this is our first 10 episodes still. I mean, our quality is going to improve over time. Like I said, I spent like a month trying to edit the first episode, and like it's done now. And I'm just done with it. I'm going to move on. It is what it is. I don't think it's the best thing we've ever done. I forgot a lot, I think, in the first one, just out of haste of recording. But, in the second episode, it isn't as bad as I think it is. I think there's a lot of it that's going to get cut out anyway. But I think the most important thing that Ace and I agreed on was consistency. Like, we upload every week, and we have the proper engagement. I think the quality that improves over time is going to be nice, but the consistency and the engagement is really going to be the honey that catches all the flies. It's probably a little rude to refer to the audio listeners as flies, but it's true. You catch more flies with honey, so.
You really do.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry, Keisha.
I love our audio listeners.
Yeah?
If you're worried about being called flies.
Okay.
I just want y'all to know. We appreciate y'all listening to us. And for your comment about taking over a month to edit, something with my artwork that really helped me move forward in finishing all my pieces is a quote I learned a while back was, done is better than perfect.
It's true.
Which doesn't mean that you should just half-ass everything,
Yeah.
but you should do the best you can, and if it's done and you know you did what you could, that's always helped me really move forward and be faster with my process.
Yes, I agree fully. And I do agree with the done is better than perfect, because I've done content creation, I've done live streams, I've done YouTube videos before, and I have had that moment where I'm like, well, it's as good as it's going to get, because I can't make it any better. And it really does mess with the upload schedule when you get really picky over the stuff. But we had the original first take of the Super Dungeon, right, the first episode, and I sent it to my guild member, Yummy, and he listened to it, and he's like, actually, you can just change the audio and make it way better if you do this one thing. And he did it, and it was like it was like day and night. And I said, well, now I have to go back and edit the first episode again, because that's way too good to have it be that quality and not be in the first episode.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and re-edit the whole thing.
That's
Like, I'm all for not being a perfectionist. I'm not saying, like, we're going to half-ass it. But I'm all for, like you said, done is better than perfect. But I listened to that, and I said, that just takes whatever I made and makes it look like shit. Like, that's my new standard. I now have to hold myself to that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. And you learn from other people as well.
And I learned from my mistakes, like Windows 11. Yeah.
Well, Windows 11.
I can't believe it did that. We plugged in my microphone set up in the new studio. The day I built the studio, I went to record, and Windows 11 enabled the fucking audio enhancements and just added all of the sound and noise reduction to my already existing, so it overlaps with my already existing noise reduction. So it just muffled everything. And I'm like, I can't undo it now. I can't undo it either, because it was exported and everything. And I'm like, oh.
I hate Windows 11.
I also hate
Number one
Windows 11.
Windows 11 hater.
Yeah.
Get Mac or Linux or some other option, because they're.
I'm too busy to learn Linus, and
Yeah.
we might go Apple with the podcast, but I'm not spending that much money until I know the podcast,
Apple is expensive.
until I know for sure everybody's happy with the product and we're good to move on. But yeah, no, the production has been fine. We're supposed to have our ups and downs. None of you have really recorded before, and I think as the episodes come out and you guys start to hear yourself more on mic, you'll hear how your voices sound, how your accents sound, but you also hear about what everybody does around the table is really loud. Like all the phones on the table, or the chewing, or the putting of books down. You guys will be like, man, that's really annoying. And so in the future, you become self-conscious of it, right? And not trying to be rude, but I'm trying to explain to you guys, but I know that when you guys see the final product, that is exactly what you're going to say. And you'll be like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I did have to put my foot down on a couple things. I had to ban snacks. Sorry, audio listeners.
No chips.
Yeah, no chips, sorry. No chips. We can do soft snacks, but we can't do hard snacks, sorry. Yeah, it was, other than that, it's been all right. I think the campaign's going well, and I think that's really, overall, what matters. And when we start uploading, we'll have the consistency and the thumbnails and everything like that. And, we'll be all right.
Yeah. I will say it's going back and hearing the edits and the process and hearing everyone's voices and then my own has been so weird, especially when
you do
in character in the accent. And
because Qhuyn's accent is spot on.
Yeah. It's good. I like
There's times where I struggle and where there's a conversation going on. I'm like, if I want to say this, I'm like, in my head, I'm like going through warm-ups. I'm like, I need to say this to get into the accent to be able to talk. And then there's some words where I just cannot stick with the accent.
What a lot of people do, and what I should probably start doing, is you should take an hour every day and you should just read something out loud. Just pick up a book, a novel, anything, go in your room and just read it out loud with an accent.
Interesting. I've thought about doing a Thor accent for Adrax, but I didn't want to be too on the nose with
too on the nose.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess the last question I wanted to end it on, is there anything that you would like to say to the audio listeners who are listening to the podcast? Anything at all, or is there any questions you would also like to ask me?
I don't think I have any questions right now about anything because it's a very new edition and we're learning as we go. But just something for the listeners is engage in the way you can, whether it's just listening through where we are or going to our subreddit, and leave comments, ask questions, tell us how we can do better, because I know we need help.
To the audio podcast too, these two ladies here, they have not heard any of the secrets in any of the episodes of the final product either yet. They have their own secrets as players that they're finding on the maps. They found a few. However, they have not had any chance to go to the subreddit and see the engagement, if any, of the secrets, whether it be the little secret I left in the first episode or anything else that they have found. They have no idea what's going on over there right now. So if you haven't gone over there, there should hopefully be an entire conversation and community around solving the secrets that are in each episode, whether that's, again, in the description, in the comments, as an audio cue in the video. I think the first episode was Morse code, and that was about it. Yeah. How about you, Ace?
My question is, are you enjoying the campaign and how everyone's
No.
reacting?
No.
I kind of thought so. I figured you hated it a lot.
I'm definitely not overstretching my ADHD a little bit into hyperfixating onto the dungeons, and I'm definitely not procrastinating a lot on the podcast editing. Other than that, I'm having a lot of fun when we actually play. But as always, the normal DM prep for a super dungeon is just a fucking gong show.
I can imagine.
It's tough. Especially because I'm hand drawing all the maps because I want to. I want to build my map skills. But it's tough. Yeah. There's no part of me... Like, I've been doing a lot. It's nice now because I live where I live. And for the audio listener, I live, like, right beside my work. So I can wake up at 8 o'clock when I start work and just go to work. Not that I would actually do that, but I can. So I've been staying up later a lot more than normal just to get these done. And I have to be honest with you, I used to just wake up early all the time, but I'm definitely a night owl, for sure. So, I don't know. I like what we're doing, like, playing, and I like hanging out with you guys. But like I said, the Super Dungeon is my baby, so I'm a little picky with it. And I'm not going to lie, there have been a few things, especially in the first dungeon, where I was like, I could have done that better. That should have been done better.
I can tell you're very passionate about it and that you're enjoying it overall.
I love this campaign. This campaign's fun.
It's fun.
And it's only fun because it's one of those things where, like, as the story goes on, you'll see why I'm having fun with it. And there will be a moment when it clicks and you're like, oh, that's why you love this campaign. And now I love it too. Because there's going to be that moment in the story when all of the stars align and you're going to be sitting there in your chair and you're going to be like, it's so good. Because that's what the 5e group was like when we played in 5e. They were like, oh my god.
Yeah, man.
It was good.
Having that moment was just... I think there was 4 of us that just kind of looked to each other and then looked back to you.
And I sat there. It was like one of the things where you looked at the players and you looked back at me and I sat there and I just had a big shit-eating grin on my face and I was like, yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's the story. Buckle up, baby, because now you got it.
Buckle up, baby.
That's right.
Oh. Yeah, I'm excited to see how the others react to that point.
I do wish, there is a little part of me that wishes we would stop talking about the 5e campaign when it comes up, but also at the same time, the campaign's so good, I can't get mad at you guys for being like, oh, that's different, and then writing it down. And I can't be like, well, don't say that, but at the same time, I'm like, yep. Yes, it is.
If it helps, I'm just lost.
I know.
From this, I'm like, well,
I know
sure
they're doing a very good job at not spoiling anything, but there has been a couple moments like with Amanda or Justin and Marlos where they're like, "Oh, this is probably what's going to happen," and I'm like, "Don't say that," but also, I love that you still remember that happened. So it's kind of like across the DM where I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much," but at the same time, I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! Don't spoil it! Don't do that."
The newbie's gotta be surprised.
At least it doesn't happen in game. And it is, like I said, there's a lot of metagame in a dungeon crawl. There's a lot of tactics, so I mean, you can't really avoid it. But yeah. Is that all the questions you guys had for me?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think so.
It's good.
Can I kind of ask you a question, Amanda?
Sure.
I noticed with the backstory, Qhuyn, can't go too into spoilers, but I noticed that it was hinted at that she has been in the dungeon before. Which piques a lot of curiosity. And does that possibly influence how you're both co-DMs as well?
I guess it kind of does, but it's more so the fact where I made up my backstory. I'm like, okay, I want to play a wizard. Here's the backstory. Divination wizard works best. Qhuyn would give her all to try to get to the end to get that wish to get what she wants. And so even if she can't win, she will wait for the next time to be like, I need this. Don't mess it up for me.
Yeah.
It's the desperation.
Yeah.
I like it too because you keep telling the NPCs that you're like, well, I've done it before, and all the a great example here is Hank, who hears you say that, and he's the bartender. He's been here for a long time, it looks like, and he's like, no, that not possible.
Yeah.
There wasn't even an insight needed. He just said, no, I don't believe you, no chance.
Yeah, because you usually die.
Yeah.
Right?
In theory, yes. Normally they would die. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, if there's a point in time where you're the only person on the team, are you going to risk going into the dungeon with all the other teams? I highly doubt it. So Qhuyn has been playing the long game of just waiting for the right group.
Hopefully this is the one.
I hope so.
Everyone is super
I think
unhinged,
Quinn's-
and I think that's usually what makes it really good team.
I think Qhuyn's getting to the point where she's like, this has to be the group.
The characters are all unhinged, but again, your backstories are all amazing. And as the backstories start to get revealed and you guys start to see more and more about how each character kind of does their thing, again, PvP is an option, and you're all only 1 million gold pieces. So really, keep that in mind as we're starting to dive into it. And I like that little reveal because it's also like, maybe we should work together and be a team as well as you get into the second level and onwards. Because you guys, this is an infinite level. You keep going until whatever happens. Either you win or everybody TPKs, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely having that moment of having those extra coins appear, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what makes me nervous about the PvP too. We're going to start killing each other.
And immediately my players call me out for using the Squid Games thing too.
There
was no hesitation there either. They're like, oh, it's like Squid Games. I was like, oh!
You said that, I was like, oh.
But it's so powerful. It's such a good story.
It's
such a good storytelling tool, so I took it.
I liked that first season a lot.
Yeah, the first season was good. And it was exactly that. The piggy bank comes down, fills with money,
Yeah.
and you, the audience member, and the players are like, oh, now the game's different.
Yeah.
Now the rules have
That is
changed.
cool. I
And
love
that's
that.
why I took that exact idea, because I was like, yeah, I want that in a Super Dungeon game show. For sure. Because that is the thing, is you have to kill the other team members, and you have to win, you have to be last team standing, right? So I'm like, well, let's incentivize it. Here's 1 million gold pieces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then having the one guy from the blue team just absolutely obliterate his
Nicholas?
teammate
Yeah.
and just be like, all right.
Nah.
Yeah. They're fine with the others.
Yeah. Kept all 3 of his star points.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I should ask before we go, how did you like the reveal that Uthalana knows one of the blue?
Oh my god! I've been like so persisted on, does Qhuyn recognize anyone? Does anyone seem recognizable from the new teams or previous teams in the Hall of Heroes? And then to have that happen, I was like, oh my god!
Yeah. Everybody's backstory is really good, and there were a couple moments in certain backstories where it's like, hey, how do you feel about this happening? Or how do you feel about this person who you know being in the super dungeon and stuff like that?
It is quite the reveal.
Yeah.
And it has me really interested
it does.
in what's going on with Uthwana and this elf guy.
Yeah. It's again, and it makes it harder to have that team versus team fight when somebody else that they know is on that team, and it further adds to the in-party conflict that is supposed to happen in the Super Dungeon with the PvP. Most DMs wouldn't advocate for that, but in this exact style of campaign, it's just perfect. It's literally the in-theme of the campaign is, do you trust this person, and are you going to let them stay at the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Will they be voted off the island or
Will
not?
they be voted off the island? Oh.
It's interesting to have that happen because I don't recall that happening in the previous edition.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be like, oh, what's going to be brought in from my backstory?
Yeah. So there was a little bit of that in the previous campaign because we had John, the character,
Yeah.
and John knew Elton
Mm-hmm.
personally. So Elton and John knew each other, right? Elton and John, get it? Elton and
I'm trying not to say anything.
Yeah, I know.
don't want to
I get to say it because she named her character that on purpose, and I was so mad when that player, who's not part of the podcast, did that. I was like, you BICTH, because as soon as and that's where the rules that said don't say Elton John for copyright is because everybody said Elton and John, right? And I said, you know what? I hate this. I tried my best to make my own character. I thought Elton was a good name. Did not make the connections between white and pink, and then that happened. And I was just like, you know what? I hate it. Elton John is not a game show host. Elton Wishgrander is. Elton John is not. But yeah. All right. Thank you so much for doing the interview, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
I really hope you guys enjoy the campaign, and I hope that everybody's having fun. I'm excited for the second level, the castle level. I don't know what you guys are planning. I would ask you who you guys think the special guest is, but
I called it.
you called it a Strahd.
Yeah.
I could not have a castle level and not make a Strahd. I was going through my mind. I'm like, no, it has to be tongue-in-cheek, so it has to be Strahd. I'm going to hear everybody in the comments go, by the way, you can't leave Barovia. And I'll be like, I don't care. And it'll make sense later as you watch, as the campaign continues, why he's there. And why he doesn't have a microphone. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's the interview. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been The Lost Dungeon Creatures. We are on Spotify and YouTube for sure. I don't know where else we are. We have a subreddit if you'd like to come engage. All the art's there. I'm there most of the time. I know that I asked Vesper, also known as Jessica, to be helping me with the socials. So you'll see her there a lot on there as well, hopefully. And yeah, I hope the secrets are good. And as always, let us know what we can prove down below because I really do want to know what you guys think. All right. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.